Hello, trading has closed on the 17th of July, 2025. As always, we'll start with our disclaimer. We'll go over our calls, and after that, we'll make our prediction. It's my trading plan for Friday, which is July 18th, 2025. Right now, it's just a plan. I can change it, especially since futures haven't opened when I'm recording this, and I don't know what they're going to be. My plan can be completely wrong, and all trades should be made at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this. Tomorrow should be the pattern with the early high. Here's what we said. Said it should be a matter of time until lower prices print, even if they don't print tomorrow. Tomorrow was today. We didn't get the lower prices. I'm going to stick with that. It should be a matter of time. We're within the window for Carol Ann's possible change in trend date. The higher the number, the bigger the move, if it works. So if we get a top, which seems hard to believe after a rally like this, but if we get a top, his stuff says it'll be big. Doesn't mean we're not going to gap up and kill the whole idea, which is the risk, but the reward, if it works, the reward is big. We have lower targets. We have 62.89.91, likely by tomorrow's close, and 62.70.48, likely by Monday's open. If we don't gap up smartly, which frankly is what the bulls have to do, if we don't gap up smartly, those are my calls. Early on, MEJT gave an ultimate sell signal and a sell signal. That's not enough to satisfy it. At the least, we should trade under this low, giving us a target of 62.70.48. There was an optional higher target too, and that obviously printed. In the afternoon, we got an ultimate buy signal, but this is a false move. There wasn't a regular buy signal, and even though the ultimate one has played out, we should return to this line, giving us a target of 62.89.91. Today was bar 13 of DeMarc's combo sell signal, not finishing early, no fudging, all the criteria met. These don't always work, but just like the Carol Ann stuff, when they work big. So this calls the area, this means we're overextended. You can correct in terms of time, in terms of price. The whole thing can really fail altogether. But if it works, if this is a top, it's a big top. That's what this says. It's saying the same thing with a totally different methodology. Here's the break to a new all-time high. The close is under the close of the prior high, under the midday high. As of right now, it's a negative pattern. Now, it can all be killed tomorrow if we gap up. That's entirely possible. This is a strong bull market, and trying to call tops is a dangerous game. But as far as right now, without gapping up, that's a negative pattern. And with lower targets, should lead to lower prices. If we gap up, the idea is killed. We still haven't completely killed the idea that this low is going to hold, and that we're going to go up into the 6400s. I mean, if we gap over this, even though I kind of gave up on this, that might still work. It hasn't been killed. But let's take a look at this low, at this high, and this low. Way back in the 1940s, George Lindsay had something called a low to high pattern. He'd take this low, which is an intermediate low, and it would nail a high. Now, frankly, this low is off by a day, which is close enough for me. But if we hit a nominal new high tomorrow morning, that would be a perfect hit with a low to high pattern. These don't always work, but once again, if they work, it should be a sizable drop. We stopped right at this trend line. We've had this trend line for a long time. We banged up against it a number of times. Eventually we should break through it. Eventually we should go higher, and we could easily gap over this tomorrow, hit new highs, and make my call for a possible top look silly. That's always possible, but you really have to gap over this, or else this is resistance and you haven't broken through. Friday's pattern has a really high regardless of where we open. Typically it's a bearish day with a fine lower low, but if it's strong, the more strength follows. Evening futures have not opened as I'm recording this, and this may affect the accuracy of the prediction. There are lower MEJT targets. Unless we gap up smartly, the rules call for them to print. Lower target has until early Monday. Well, how likely is it we're going to keep going up and these will never print? Well, here's the long-term track record. I mean, last year there was one target that never printed. One. I mean, a lot of years every single target printed. Doesn't always work, but that's out of 650 targets. I have 2 other targets this year which didn't print, so maybe it'll be up to 4. You can't say, but the odds are against it. The odds are at some time they're going to print, and the most likely time is by tomorrow and Monday. We now have a DeMark combo sell signal on the daily chart with all criteria met. We're within Carol Ann's window for a top, and if it works, the large number, F22, argues for a sizable drop. We have a Lindsay low to high top pattern. According to 2 different posts I saw on YouTube, institutional cash is nearly fully invested. I saw a figure of 99%. That means big money doesn't have the funds to take us much higher. I mean, anybody can make a post on YouTube, but 2 different guys said the same thing. We stopped right at trendline resistance. Bulls need to gap over today's high and hold it to continue the rally. Until we reverse, that's possible. This is a strong rally. I'm not saying it's impossible. None of the sell signals I mentioned are going to work every time. But today, or maybe tomorrow's open, is a strong candidate for a top. And if it works, if this is a top, we should have a substantial drop here. The indicators are there. Please remember that maintaining a gap up kills the idea, and picking tops is a dangerous game. Despite the risk here, and there is risk, the reward of a short position should be large if we do start down with authority. I try to pick tops, I try to pick bottoms. If it doesn't work right away, I just get out of Dodge. But this is a perfect candidate for a top by a number of different systems. All we need to do is either have a slightly higher high and then start dropping, or start dropping right from the open. And if we don't have a big down day in the next 3 days, and preferably earlier than that, and especially if we gap up, the whole idea is going to probably fall apart. But this is, if you're looking at risk rewards, the risk is certainly there, but the reward's about as big as it's going to get if this works. And we're not going to know that until a few days' time passes. But this is a number of criteria for a top by a number of different systems, by a number of different people. I have lower targets, which are almost always going to print. If you want to take a flyer on picking a top, this is a great place. You just have to honor a stop. If it starts to go against you, then don't fight the trend. But this could be it for a while. And that's today's call.